Yo, I'm Drew, and today I want to talk about weed tourism because there's a lot of places around the world where weed has recently gotten legalized or has been legal for a long time, and you might want to go on holiday to some of these places and enjoy what they have to offer as a tourist. And there's many different reasons to go to some of these places, and I travel a lot. I've been to a lot of these places, and I wanted to give my opinion on where the best holiday destinations are for this type of tourism. And especially because depending on what you kind of want to get out of everything, how much money you have, how much money you want to spend, it kind of depends on the best destination for you. So I want to go through everything in this video and give you the pros and the cons from these different places and tell you the best destination that might suit you. So although the title of this video is Amsterdam versus Spain versus Thailand, I'm actually going to split Spain up into two sections, which is going to be Barcelona and Tenerife, because to be honest, there are other places in Spain where you could go for this sort of tourism, but these are the two main places you're going to go to, especially if you want to actually enjoy being a tourist in these sort of places and like have stuff that accommodates. Because yeah, there's other places in mainland Spain you could go to, but there's not going to be anywhere near as many shops. They're not going to be as accepting, especially for non-Spanish residents, which we will get into that in a little bit. And on top of that, I'm not going to speak about America or Canada in here because I don't really have much experience with Canada myself. And also America, technically you can't go there as a tourist and you can't do that sort of stuff as a tourist. Obviously people do, but technically you can't, and it's not really known as like a destination like these places are for like actual bud tourism because it's actually directed towards tourists. So that's why we're going to talk about in this video Amsterdam versus Barcelona versus Tenerife versus Thailand. And there's many things that go into this, and the main sections we're going to talk about is legality, like how legal it actually is, the stuff you can actually do. Then also how good is it actually as just a normal holiday destination. A lot of people don't want to actually just, indulge in all the smoky stuff and all of that. They want to actually enjoy themselves, and what is actually on offer in these places. That definitely comes into a part of a holiday. Then the quality of the flower is going to be a huge deciding factor for a lot of people. And then on top of that, the price of the flower is going to, definitely turn people away from certain places. So those four sections are what we're going to focus on today in that order. First of all, let's talk about Amsterdam. Now, Amsterdam's kind of weird because out of all the places we're going to talk about today, it's probably the least legal place because it's not legal at all. It's just tolerated and there's certain rules written up. The cities make up their own kind of rules, but at the same time, it feels like it's the most legal. Like for sure, out of all of the places on this list, if you're just trying to go somewhere that feels liberated, that feels amazing, that feels different, Amsterdam is insane because you can just walk into shops, you can walk around blazing it, nobody cares. That's what everyone there is for. You can make friends hella easily, nobody cares. You're not going to have any troubles. Yeah, technically you're supposed to only have up to 5G on you. However, if you did have more, it's never ever going to be a problem. Now, Barcelona, when it comes to legality, is a bit iffy. Now, this counts for all of Spain, but each place kind of does it a bit differently. But technically the way the law works is that it's supposed to be for Spanish residents only, and you're not supposed to leave the club with any bud. So originally, back in the day, the clubs would make you sign up, say that you're a Spanish resident. You'd have to put the place that you're staying in Spain as your address, not your place, in your country you're actually from. Then you'd have to say how many G's a month you would need because you can only get that amount ratioed with the club because it's all a weird social club method that's actually a big loophole. You're not even supposed to buy bud there. You're supposed to get bud for free once you're signed up with a club. Obviously, no club is going to end up giving you bud for free. So what it is you donate to the club in a separate room, and then ratioed to the amount that you've donated, they will give you bud for free. So you don't ever buy any weed. Never. That's not a thing. That's not legal in Spain. But they do give you bud for free, ratioed to the amount that you donated earlier. However, in Barcelona, yeah, you get some problems with police. Mainly the problem you'll get in Barcelona with police is there'll be police waiting outside of a club. So you'll come out of the club, they'll just instantly grab you, know you've been in there and be like, hey, we're searching you to make sure you haven't taken anything out the club. And then if you have, could have a fine, they could take the bud off you, it could be a problem. But outside of that, you're not really going to have too much of an issue in Barcelona until you do something wrong. Now, the reason I've separated Tenerife specifically from Barcelona is not just because of this, because everything is kind of different between Barcelona and Tenerife, and they're both actual tourist destinations that hella people go to. But at the same time, the police treat people in Tenerife so much differently. I'm talking if you have a man bag on and you're on an electric scooter, you're getting pulled over. They're a random control, random search. And they straight up will pull your boxes out and shine a torch in there without telling you nothing. Like, bro, they are on it in Tenerife. They do not care. They just want to, obviously, I'm assuming they want to get backhanders, or they just want to take the bud and whatnot. You know what I mean? So in Tenerife, it's totally different. Like, yeah, you can still have that same problem in Barca as getting out of a club, but in general, walking down the street, Tenerife is a big no-go. Now, all of Spain counts for this as well. You can't smoke outside. If you smoke outside anywhere, whether it's Barca, whether it's Tenerife, you're probably going to end up having a problem. It's not worth it. It's just, trust me, Spanish police do not play around. Do not mess with them. It is legal inside your own home once you actually get there, though. So if you're in like a hotel on your balcony or in a private place, a villa, technically nobody can do anything to you from then because it's perfectly fine. Now, Thailand is probably technically the most legal place. Like, it's the most liberated, everything's super free. Bro, you can walk down the road and there's a hot dog stand, you know, frying hot dogs, and they got a jar of GMO on the top of the hot dog stand. Like, it is absolutely mental. And a lot of people might ask as well, Drew, I thought the law was changing in Thailand. I thought they were going to change it. They've said that twice. Both times the bill has been rejected, and the recent time it just got rejected again. Now, they are still saying they want to change regulation and bring stuff in, but the chances of that actually happening and happening anytime soon is very slim, and whether it's going to change anything is also very slim. I very much doubt that's going to happen. But like, realistically, Thailand is the most legal place. Now, you're still not supposed to smoke outside in Thailand, so I'd still avoid that because you can have a fine. But if you weren't smoking outside and you got stopped by police and you had a key of bud on you, they literally cannot do anything. They would not do anything. Like, it is absolutely mental in Thailand. It is really cool. It is the most liberated and free place when it comes to legality, for sure. But Amsterdam still feels a bit more legal because of the fact you can walk around blazing. So for legality, that's basically everything. But how are these places as an actual tourist destination? Like, what can you actually do? Now, for sure, starting off with the worst place, Amsterdam. Yeah, okay, it's cool. There's some canals, you've got the Anne Frank stuff, you've got some silly museums, but when it actually comes to like actually doing activities, there isn't really much. There isn't much you can do. It's not like you can go hiking. It's not like you can go jet skiing. It's not like you can do any cool activity in that sort of a sense. Like, it's kind of just walking. It's kind of just canals, and it's kind of just smoking. And when it comes to like actual activity stuffs, most stuff is boring. It's the Netherlands. It's going to be boring stuff. It's not going to be like, wow, let's go do this crazy thing. It's probably going to be, you know, yeah, all I'm saying is for Amsterdam, if you're trying to go there for a holiday, maybe not the best place. If you're trying to go there for like a raw smoke experience, then you're like, yeah, you'll probably have a better time. Barcelona, I still think is pretty similar to Amsterdam as well. I don't think it has too much crazy activities. The activities that are there aren't great. It's not the safest place either. Like, Amsterdam is a super safe place, like relatively anyways, and in general it's pretty safe. But Barcelona is not a very nice place. Like, in Barcelona, there's stuff like this on the walls everywhere, like horrible stuff towards tourists. Tourists get robbed and hurt over nothing, over designer stuff, and it's really feels like an unsafe place to be. On top of that, there really aren't that many activities. It's not really somewhere with a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, there's probably a bit more activities than Amsterdam, but in general, it doesn't really feel like the nicest destination to go to, especially when there's spray paint on all the walls saying that all the locals obviously hate tourists. So when you're walking around as a tourist, doesn't really feel that nice. Now, Tenerife, on the other hand, is like a tourist island, and although yeah, you do somewhat get that Spanish like spray paint in certain places and, you know, the no touristy vibe, it's hard to even remember that Tenerife isn't an English island and then it's actually Spain, because there's so many English people, and there's not really a problem with the crime or anything. I mean, maybe somewhat with like villas and stuff, but in general, like on the street, you're not going to have problems like that. It feels nicer. Now, there's more stuff to do. There's jet skis. You can rent a boat. There's hikes. You can go up one of the volcanoes. You can even go to a different island if you wanted to. There's hella stuff to do on Tenerife. Now, I think probably topping that is Thailand, because they have pretty much the exact same activities as are available in Tenerife, but there's way less regulation, so it feels way more fun. You can just take a jet ski out by yourself and ride it by yourself instead of having to like have somebody that you follow. You can, you know, take quads out and do whatever, and you can basically just pay for stuff. Like, money talks. Like, money works really well in Thailand, and to be honest, it's not even that expensive. Like, say money talks, like you can just pay for stuff, but that price is very cheap. Which we'll talk about prices at the end after this, but we need to talk about the quality of the flower. Where is the best quality, bro? Now, I really do think, this might be controversial to say, but I think the best quality out of all of these places is actually in Amsterdam. And the reason I say it's in Amsterdam is just because there's so many people there. There's some really good like local Dutch flour. There's some really good Cali there. It's like the hub for everything. So good flour comes through. It is really easy to find good flour. And if you want to pay more to get the best of the best, you can. Now, I will say Barcelona is also very close. I would say it's pretty much the same with Tenerife as well, but I just think you can find more of that sort of quality in Amsterdam than you can in Barcelona. But I think on par, quality-wise, they're all pretty similar except for Thailand, which the reason why I say that is because, yeah, look, you can find good quality flour in Thailand. It's really easy to find 8 out of 10 bud. Really easy. You can find 8 out of 10 bud anywhere, but you just can't pay that extra price to guarantee get really good flour. Whereas when you're in Amsterdam, you can get really good flour and just pay a premium for it and it's good. Barcelona, you can do the same. You just need to sort of know where to go. And then it's the same with Tenerife. Thailand, you don't really have that option a lot of the time unless you're like super well connected and you know where stuff's landed. Like in general, in like 99% of shops in Thailand, yeah, you can get 8 out of 10 super easily, but not any crazy 10 out of 10. But I think this leads us onto the price because it was really hard to talk about the quality without really mentioning the price, which is, I think, the most expensive place on this whole list is Tenerife. Tenerife is extortion. Amsterdam is probably a close second. Barcelona probably just after that. And then Thailand is really cheap. Now, let's start from the beginning at Amsterdam anyway. So Amsterdam, your average price is probably going to be between 14 and 18 on the G for like anything even, you know, that you want to look at that's going to be really good. That's the minimum. The Cali's going to be between 25 and 30 mainly, maybe a little bit over 30 for some crazy exclusives. Expensive, not crazy. Barcelona is basically the exact same, but take off like €2 off of each price. Now, Tenerife is a little island next to Africa. Everything is imported here. Everything is expensive. Local dead, well, not local dead, but local kind of mid-sea flour is going to go for like 20 a G. You see like decent Spanish flour going all the way up to 25 a G for local Spanish flour. But I say local because it still has to be brought in here. A lot of it isn't grown on the island. Some of it is, but just crazy prices in Tenerife. But Thailand, bro, Thailand, you can find that 8 out of 10, pretty decent quality for cheap. For under 10 a G, pretty much all the time. Most of the time, you could find that sort of 8 out of 10 for like maybe even less, like 6 to 8 a G, I would say is like the reasonable rough price. And even that is expensive because obviously locals are not buying that. But at the same time, locals are buying Thai stick, which trust me, if you do go to Thailand, have a look at it. And you'll realize why you don't want to pay 50p for 1G. You can pay 50p for 1G in Thailand. However, you know one thing that's a bit weird about the prices? You know I say like, look, you can't just pay more to get better in Thailand. Like you could pay more to get more exclusive 8 out of 10 that's still decent in Thailand for sure. But you know, it's not like you could just be like, oh, let me pay 16 or 18 on the G for some 10 out of 10 Thai. It just doesn't really happen. On the flip side, Cali in Thailand is quite cheap. So if you just want 10 out of 10 Cali in Thailand, they don't really have the foot like through or the amount of people, all people with the money to be able to buy like Cali for, you know, 100 or 35. At the same time, they don't need to double their money legally like places like Amsterdam do. So you can find 10 out of 10 Cali for actually like 70 or 35 or like 80 or 35. So for that in Thailand, that's kind of decent. But if you're trying to get that like 10 out of 10, that's your best option. Other than that, you're going to really have to search hard, really have to get well connected, find out new brands. And like, yeah, obviously you can get lucky and you can find something absolutely amazing local. It's just not easy. Nowhere near as easy as Barca, nowhere near as easy as Amsterdam. And I think when you're thinking about a holiday destination that you want to go to for these things, like I think there's a couple of answers, right? Is number one, if you don't want to go far, if you want to stay in the UK or local to Europe, wherever you're from, if that's your vibe and you're from the UK, Amsterdam is a 45-minute flight. You can go there, you can experience some really cool stuff, you can pay the money. If you've saved up or you just have money in general, you can have an amazing time. Even if you don't have that much money, it's so close that you can just book a hotel for the night and have a 2-day sort of thing, fly over for super cheap and really enjoy yourself on a small holiday, even solo as a solo traveler. It's absolutely amazing. I think Barcelona is probably the least exciting place to go to. Like I only really go there for Spannabis, which is that event that happens every March. It's a really, really good event. I would say if you do want to go Barcelona, definitely organize it around that Spannabis time because it is an amazing event. Tenerife, an amazing place to go to as a tourist. Like if you're trying to go somewhere as a tourist to really enjoy being on holiday, on a smoky holiday, get all the activities in, Tenerife is great. It's just extortion. It's super expensive for kind of no reason. And I think a lot of the clubs actually suffer from that, because if they had their prices like 20% cheaper, they'd be packed out all the time. But that's my thoughts anyways. And then I think Thailand is also probably your best option for like a crazy, different, wild experience. It's somewhere you can't miss, but it's a 12-hour flight. If you don't mind being in economy for 12 hours, bro, it's probably gonna end up cheaper. The flights will probably end up paying them for themselves because of how cheap the accommodation is and how cheap the flour is. Everything is so cheap out there for what you get. You'd have an amazing time, but 12 hours in economy is really, really long. So what you want to do is kind of up to you, really. That was my experiences in these places. I think different things suit different people for different reasons, but tell me in the comments down below, what do you think is the best place to go for this type of holiday? Let me know. And people, we're trying to hit 1 million subscribers. So if you haven't hit the sub button and you've gotten to this part in the video, hit the sub button. Also, thank you to this YouTube comment for telling me to make this video this morning, because I saw this and I was like, wow, that's a great video. And I really wanted to upload a video where I just talk, and I just did it right now.